We've transitioned into a brand new year. 2023 is now upon us. And with this comes a flood of setting goals, having New Year's resolutions, setting your own objectives, and wanting certain outcomes from the year. Organically, for the first time, things have shifted where I've had a really close look at what it means to have goals. And by all means, this video isn't to tell you not to have goals. In fact, have bold ambitions. But we need to make the distinction between what I mean by this. To really understand this, we hear people say, my goal for the year is to achieve X. I want to earn a certain amount of money. I want to have. But we really need to look at the I that wants to have. Goals can often come from lack, from a place of incompletion within ourselves. And when I have X, then I will feel more complete about who I am. Then I will be happier because that's all we're actually looking for. So goals from the ego are more self-centered. Achieving them builds us up, builds the identity, and forges this I that you talk about. But who is it that wants this? The best way I can describe it is by thinking of a sand castle. This was something which came up lying on the beach this holiday. And if you think of a sand castle, we describe it as a sand castle, a single physical form, being the sand castle. But what is the sand castle actually? The truth is that there isn't one single thing there. A sandcastle is millions, if not billions, of single grains of sand, which make up what we would call the sandcastle. The same goes for you. When I say I am Ryan, Ryan is actually a limitation. Ryan is how we would describe this physical body-mind, this form. But science has already proven to us that if we were to put the body under a microscope, all this is billions and trillions of atoms and space, molecules which present a physical form. There isn't really a single Ryan here. Likewise for you, there isn't a single you there. So when I say I want X to be achieved this year, which atom, which molecule would want to achieve that? You see, because we've been identified as this separate body-mind, the form which you see as Ryan, there is a ego identity. And the ego identity is really just a belief, a thought form which I believe myself to be Ryan. And when Ryan, this ego, has what he wants, then he can feel better about himself. And then he can be more famous, more successful, be more accomplished, and be more happy. Again, happiness is really what you want. You don't want the thing. You don't want the car. You don't want the bank account. You don't want the body. You don't want the holiday. What you really want is how these things make you feel. They make you temporarily experience happiness. Now, there's a reason why that occurs, and that's for another day. What I want you to stay with is the analogy of the sand castle and how the particles of sand or the grains of sand translate into what I'm describing as the human body form and this I that we talk about. The ego has many needs and wants. Ultimately, the ego is never actually satisfied. But if you're not this single I, this ego identity, well then, what are you? This is the greatest question you can ask yourself. What am I? You are the awareness which animates the body. You are the awareness you have always been. When you were a small child, you described yourself as me, myself. This self, just closing your eyes momentarily, feels exactly the same and has always been from when you were a child to who you are right now. Your body is not the same. We know that the body when you were a child had smaller hands, smaller feet, and was even a smaller form. The adult body might look older, its appearance has changed. But what hasn't changed? What hasn't changed is you, awareness, I, the true I. Not the I which believes itself to be a separate self or a egoic I. Because this I is really not actually there. What I'm saying on another level is you don't exist. You as in the person. Ryan doesn't exist. It is just a label in the form of a name, which I have become identified with and believe to be who I am. But it is not the ultimate truth of who I am. So going forward into 2023, when setting your goals, take a moment to pause, to reflect on where do these goals come from? Are these goals the goals that arise on behalf of a separate self or the ego, which wants things in order to be better and happier about its life? Or are these ambitions and inspirations arising on behalf of the truth of who you are, awareness? Because awareness wants to create and express through your body, mind. So when there is inspiration to achieve, to create, to start a business, to have a family, to change careers, to serve others, whatever the true inspiration is, then it is arising on behalf of awareness. It is the universe wanting to create and express itself through you. There are goals which come from ego, and then there are ambitions and inspirations which arise on behalf of awareness, the truth of who you are and have always been.